Made Man here. Y'all know how I get down. We talking boxing, man. I just would like to take a minute to say rest in peace to Boxer Dwight Ritchie. Dwight Ritchie has recently lost his life due to a sparring accident in which he was helping Michael Zarafa, middleweight fighter, prepare for his upcoming rematch fight with Jeff Horn in Australia. And it turns out during their sparring session that Mr. Ritchie was hit with a body shot in which he pretty much never recovered from. And it's stated that after he got hit with this body shot that they took him back to his corner and he collapsed. And he pretty much never got himself back together after that. And he passed away. It said that he's a father of 3 kids. He was also preparing for an up-and-coming fight that was going to happen in Melbourne, Australia, against a fighter named Tommy Brown. This was going to happen on December 6th. And it's also stated that Michael Zarafa was a really close friend of Dwight Ritchie, and he's devastated by what happened from this sparring session. According to Dwight Ritchie's promoter, Mr. Jake Ellis, he says that Dwight will always be remembered by the boxing fraternity as one of the brightest talents in Australia, whose fighting style embodied exactly how he lived. The fighting cowboy had a professional record of 19-2 is what's being reported. So his nickname was called the Boxing Cowboy. I don't know much about him, but I just know he's a fellow fighter. He's a boxer. And though some may slip through the cracks, I may not see everybody, but whenever I see that a boxer has lost his life in the ring, trying to achieve his goals and provide for his family, as well as provide a level of entertainment for us, then I think it's only right that we take a minute to acknowledge the sacrifice that was made here. You know what I mean? And as I stated, Michael Zarafa is pretty much devastated by this because he was a really close friend for him. And Michael Zarafa goes on to say, and I quote, "There are simply no words to describe how I am feeling right now. Dwight was one of the most humble people I have ever met. We had known each other since we were teenagers, when we were just starting out in the sport. And for the past 10 years, Dwight and I have been supporting each other inside and outside the ring. There had always been a professionalism and mutual respect between us. Saturday was an absolute tragedy, and as tough as it is right now for myself, I can only imagine how difficult the past 24 hours have been for Dwight's family. My heart bleeds for his 3 children and his beautiful partner. I have spoken to the family and given my deepest condolences. The boxing community has lost a truly great person, and I have lost a mate." I mean, damn. My prayers go out to Michael Zarafa as well for his well-being, man, because that can't be nothing easy to know that your friend just passed away due to a sparring match that you were involved in with him. I mean, oh, man, I can imagine what Michael Zarafa is probably dealing with today. It's just, wow, man, that the burden that he's probably feeling on him right now, man. Yo, man, I'm going to tell you something. If he doesn't come back anytime soon, I think we all will understand that, man. It's just, this is so tragic to know that that's your friend that you've known since 10 years old. And y'all looked out for each other inside and outside the ring. That could be, they could be looking out for each other's families, because these are not 2 elite level top stars in boxing. So fighters usually that operate on the level that they're fighting on, usually in a lot of cases do have to look out for each other outside the ring. And this is just as messed up, man. I mean, the thing is, I'm real sensitive to fighters, you know what I mean? I've been covering the fight game for so long, and I have such an admiration for a lot of boxers that it's like, yo, when something like this happens, I mean, I can just only imagine what Michael Zarafa could be feeling in this situation, man. It's just, so tragic. And my prayers goes out to him as well, man. And another thing is that, Dwight Ritchie is also said that as a child, he battled cancer twice, So he was a natural fighter. I mean, he was a guy who beat cancer twice as a child. He overcame cancer twice, one time when he was 6 months old and another time at 18 months old. So even as a tender child, this man overcame cancer. He was a strong enough fighter to overcome cancer twice. And it wasn't cancer that took him out. It was boxing, you know what I mean? And this happened in the boxing ring, of course. Maybe it could have been other things happening. I've heard some people allude to a heart attack or something like that. But it was boxing. I mean, it happened in a boxing ring. This also, to me brings a certain light to doctors in boxing. One thing about you got to understand, fight fans, there's a lot of payola doctors in the sport of boxing. I'm not saying that went down something like that here, but you got to wonder, a man who passes away in the ring from sparring like that, like, were there any medical issues beforehand that were overlooked? We've seen this happen time and time again in the sport of boxing, where these fighters know to go to certain doctors that will, look out for them in a way, and kind of get them around certain situations. I mean, I remember as recent as, like, say, Luis Ortiz. When Luis Ortiz had to face Deontay Wilder, we know Luis Ortiz had just popped prior. When he originally was supposed to face Deontay Wilder, he popped dirty for it on a drug test. And what helped him get back into the ring to finally face Deontay Wilder was the fact that Luis Ortiz, honestly, and it's just keeping it 100, he went to a shady doctor. And he got a note. And, this particular shady doctor wrote him a note saying that, hey, he's cool and he's on blood pressure medication and everything's all right. And turns out this doctor had all kind of cases playing in the background, from doing, black market pills to all kinds of different crimes he was involved in. And this guy was super duper shady. But however, this letter was taken from this doctor to also assist Luis Ortiz to gain himself back into the ring with no punishment, pretty much. Because I don't know if y'all remember, after Luis Ortiz popped for the Wilder fight, everyone was wondering, how did he make it back so fast? And Wilder turned a blind eye to it, and there was really not much discipline involved with Luis Ortiz. But that's because mainly he went to a shady doctor, and he got a note from him that assisted him to get back into the ring. I've already covered that on this channel, but there are shady doctors in the fight game everywhere. These promoters are attached to them, and there's even fighters that are attached to them. And you got to wonder how, like I said before, man, is all of these fighters really getting a certified clean bill of health before they step in that ring? These are just some of the things that I wonder when I hear situations like this play out. But I'm not saying that it happened here. I'm just wondering. Michael Zarafa showing humility, and he's pretty much devastated. They're saying that his upcoming fight with Jeff Horn may or may not be postponed, and if it is, I'm sure that all of us will understand as to the reason why, man. So this is very unfortunate. It's a very tragic accident. May he rest in paradise. Like I said, trying to achieve his goals and provide for his family and provide a level of entertainment for us. So may he rest in peace or rest in paradise, man. And it's funny because earlier today I just did a video based about Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. and Daniel Jacobs, in which Julio Cesar Jr. is a known drug cheat, and Daniel Jacobs is basically okay with the lax drug testing that's being involved with this fight. And this is the reason why people like myself and others push the line on drug testing and just safety in boxing in general, because this is a contact sport. No matter how safe they try to make it, in a lot of cases, boxing will never truly be the most safest sport. It's a contact sport. I mean, every time you get punched, your brain rattles. So, I mean, you could try to make adjustment with gloves. You could try to cut the round shorter. There was even once upon a time where the WBC felt as though it was the best route to go, to take fathers out of corners, because sons go above and beyond for their fathers, even risking injury to themselves. I mean, you can try to try to make it as safe as possible, but it will never truly be safe with the PEDs that are riddled all through boxing, and how every year new PEDs come out. Some fighters don't care if they take PEDs. They're just trying to achieve their goal, not caring about if they hurt the other guy across from them. That's what disgusts me so much with Dillian White. But anyway, the thing is just boxing will never truly be safe. So even, in situations like this where it doesn't seem like no foul play or nothing like that was involved, or any unsafe measures, at least not till we know of now, it's still, it's already unsafe as it is. When you try to enhance it and do things like PEDs or load your gloves or do stuff like that, it just makes it even worse. And that boxer across from you has a family also. So rest in peace once again to Mr. Ritchie, man, Dwight Ritchie, man. And it's a very unfortunate loss. So y'all keep it pushing, man. To the next video, Main Man Made Man. Don't forget to subscribe. Twitter, Made Man 511. Facebook, Main Man Made Man Boxing Forum. Instagram, Main Man Made Man. We gotta stay pushing the line, pushing the narrative about safety in boxing, fight fans. We love these fighters. We like to see them fight. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you know, when their careers are over and they got to really pay the price for all the abuse that they taken, you know, the best thing you want is for them to live comfortably after boxing because they sacrificed so much for us. To the next video. Peace out.